In the dungeons we slay, in the dragon's den we play. Raise a glass to the heroes who battle night and day. With a fiddle and a hurdy-gurdy, we'll sing the tales of old. In the tavern we gather, where the stories unfold. In the moonlight we roam through the ancient cobblestones. With swords and shields we march across the land we've known. With a fiddle and a hurdy-gurdy, we'll dance around the fire. In the tavern we revel, let the spirit take us higher.
So we're working on that right now. That's Quests from the Infinite Staircase, which is Watsy's other adventure book that's coming out this year. Because we are of a certain age and grew up in a certain era, that one's super exciting to us because it is 6 modules from the period of time where we were first really getting obsessed with this game. So that's been really fun to work on. Just looking at, we've gone back to all the old original 80s texts just to look at the way these things started out and how they've changed, and that's been really, really fun. So we're working on that. Expedition to the Barrier Peaks was
Oh my God.
sort of a game-changing moment for me as a high school D&D player, just for whatever reason that just sort of opened my mind about, oh my God, you can do anything in these worlds. You can, you can let it go anywhere you want. It's limitless. And that was just such a meaningful moment for me as a kid to be able to work on that now. For this boxed edition has just been really sweet.
Yeah.
Right. No, that's I couldn't even imagine. I can't that one I would love to see.
Whenever we start talking about this, I feel old.
It's funny because I flash right back to me sitting at the table opening my present when I was 17 years old, and it was the D&D box and had the chit cards, didn't have dice, and I'm there by myself learning how to play because my parents didn't want to play. They didn't care less.
Right.
And so I'm sitting there learning how to play this game by myself and just being fascinated by the possibilities in it. And now as I'm part of it now, which is really cool. That's like a end of a dream come true, you might say. Kind of, we did an interview with Todd Stashwick last year. And he was the same way. He grew up just fascinated with D&D, and then to become part of it now, it's just awesome. It's an awesome feeling. So I can imagine how you guys feel. I know how you feel, so that is incredible.
Yeah. We've been I've just little behind the scenes thing. I've been working with one of our designers on the access cards, that you have in Barrier Peaks that allow there are, all these different colors of access cards that allow you to get into different areas of the spaceship, and working on the idea of, being able to have physical cards at the table. That's something that we can include. So that's really, that's a really exciting little thing to be playing around with right now.
Well, I bet it is, but that's the thing I love about Waterdeep Heist. There's so many, you don't have to come up with your own props, which is really cool.
Gotcha.
And the fact that you have all these things, the Harper pin, which I've used in other games. I used it in a game a few weeks ago with Curry. I've used the cups, the collapsible cups that are in there. Everything. I can't tell you how many times I sat at a table with a piece of drawing paper. I'd draw a map on it, cover it with lemon juice, and then go bake it in the oven. And my mom was like, "What are you doing?" I'm making maps.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's nice to have these props and stuff. Yeah, wines,
crumpling
everything.
them up.
Blood. I even considered cutting myself to bleed on a map at one time when I was little.
And every time I hear my dad, son, uh, people back in the day, these weren't old; they were new.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And, this is not Treasure Island. You're not,
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So I found that even harder because I'm trying to cast my own metal badges and stuff. And in those days, that meant lead. That we didn't have all the fun elements.
Yeah.
And my
Right.
father would be saying, "What are you doing?" Well, you weren't using these model soldiers, so son,
That's industrious right
you
there.
might want to live just a little longer. Propagate the species, something like that. And
Yeah.
I'd say, "Oh, are you telling me this is not a good idea?" And he said, "In the politest way possible, I'm going to tell you that if you wish not to be maimed, that you'd stop." Because, as far as I was concerned, these 54 millimeter Britons stand ups, they only had one side. They were no good.
Right.
They hadn't bothered to finish making the Mini. But from his point of view, hey, hey,
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
yeah, well, yeah, I'm guilty as charged. I can't,
That's right.
that's why I do these things.
That's right. Curry, do you have any questions?
I do. I got a couple. Guys,
Good.
are you making any conventions this season at all?
Yeah, we are, and the fun thing about that, I don't know if you guys know, but we did a TV show that is on the D&D Adventure Channel. It's
Okay.
called Faster Purple Worm Kill Kill.
Yes. Oh, that one. Yes. Yes.
Lisa managed to get to see her episode while we were filming the Legacy of Worlds. So
Oh,
we were
great!
killing ourselves laughing at all.
Oh,
the
good.
time.
I'm so glad. That's great. So yeah, so what we're continuing that with live shows. That's our one of our big goals this year is to try to get some live shows of that in. It's a blast to do in front of people.
Yeah.
We just did the San Francisco Sketch Fest, and that was a great show, really fun. But we're doing San Diego Comic-Con, a show. Then we're doing a show at Gen Con, and we'll also be
Nice.
there with a booth at Gen Con. And then PAX Unplugged we'll be doing as well. So that's our current convention schedule and Purple Worm schedule. And we're also looking to find a space in the LA area where we could do sort of semi-regular live shows and really sort of get more serious about that because they're just so much fun and it's such a great way to there's so many people in LA. You mentioned Todd Stashwick. Todd was on the show, somebody that I wouldn't have gotten to know otherwise, and is such a great guy and such a great contributor to this sort of community that we've got. And Purple Worm has become a great way to make those connections and find an excuse to work with those people. And since so many of them are in the Los Angeles area, it's just great to be able to throw a show together and jump on stage with those people and do a cool show. For anybody who doesn't know, the basic idea of Purple Worm is that 4 first level characters go out on an adventure full of hopes and dreams, and then they meet up with an epic monster who wipes them out instantly. So every show is only about an hour long, and everyone starts with a brand new adventure and a brand new group of characters because nobody ever lives.
Nobody
It's a
lives.
PPK every time.
Yep.
Yes.
Well, that's great to hear. All of us, all the all-stars from the Mages and Sages podcast are making it out to Gen Con this year. So we would love to connect with you guys while we're there.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the guys who worked on, Stephen Shin, Eric Boyd, the ones who did a lot of the writings in TSR, for TSR and WotC, plus a few other guys that are going. One of them whose character in our Saturday campaign is named Grimm.
Oh,
right.
okay. All right. Well, my lawyers will be in touch.
It's actually Grim Dar.
His
but
first
we call
name,
him-
his other name is Brother.
His brother. That's right. That's right.
No, I can't mess with that then. All right.
Yeah.
Someone else's lawyers.
It's really Grimdar, but we call him Grimm. So that's and it's only spelled with one M, I think. So that's
Okay. All right. I'll let it pass.
that's
Bill,
different.
John, between everything spanning from Eye of Ruin all the way back to the beginnings with Ghosts of Saltmarsh, you guys have a particular favorite that you just harken back to? Like, that's my one moment that I think I've had the most fun with.
How dare you? How dare you ask that Sophie's choice?
No, that's right. Do you think they have a favorite child, Curry? Come
Yeah.
on.
I mean,
We're D&Ders. We dare everything.
Right. We do.
John, you go first.
for me, I think I would have to say, boy, there's so many good ones. I would have to say, I think I'd have to say Waterdeep Dragon Heist.
Okay.
It was our first one.
Sure.
I have run it multiple times using the box
Mhm.
and enjoy it immensely. So I think I would have to go with that.
Hey, you never
Okay.
forget your first time. That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
There
Yeah.
you go.
I think similarly for me, the first box where I was the lead on was Descent into Avernus. So that was the first
Okay.
time where I really had to take the reins and make the big boy decisions. So that that I'll always have a special sort of point of pride and love for that one, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you find yourself being like a fanboy gamer with your own stuff about putting in too much stuff? For me, doing things like this, you're like, oh, what if we did? Oh, what if we had this? Oh, let's do this here too. Now, pretty soon, your little project has turned into a mountain. I mean, how do you trim the fat and decide really what's going to work best?
Right.
Yeah, we would benefit greatly if we had one person in the company who just fucking hated D&D. You can really just look at it and go, guys, just from a spreadsheet perspective, that makes no sense whatsoever. Because
Right.
we're all so in love with it that it's really hard for us to knock
Right.
anything
Yeah.
out. Yeah, it's a very painful, difficult process. We always try to start with no limits on what we're imagining or hoping for, and really trying to get every idea out there. But at some point, it does have to be winnowed down, and it's never fun.
Yeah,
But
it's always surprising to me when someone who has never bought a box of ours before, because the people who have bought our boxes, they understand what they're getting into. But a
Right.
first-time buyer will open the box and say, wait, I thought I was getting a battle map of every single room in the adventure. They were expecting 120 battle maps, and it's like,
Right.
we pick the boss fights. There are some choices that have to be made here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you don't want this thing to cost $5,000.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And it
the
comes
double.
in 3 volume boxes,
That's right. The double diamond edition. It's
I see
600-pound
nothing
pallet
wrong
that we
with
dropped
that.
off at your house every 6 months.
Oh, I like that. Oh,
Yeah.
hey.
We'll sell 7 of them, but it's huge.
That's it. But still, something that may pay for it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Man,
right.
I don't think I could do that. That's always been a problem, is keeping things that you don't think and it's stuff that you think is cool, not necessarily what's going to sell. So I guess when you first start,
yeah,
you're like,
no, yeah.
you're like, oh, this would be so cool to have this, and somebody goes, no, what? What do you
Yeah.
mean? No, you can't have Vecna on roller skates. It's not going to work. Oh, but they're cool roller skate. No, not going to work. So there's
I like it. Vecna on roller skates. Hey, if Luke Gygax can sell sneakers for GaryCon, surely you guys can.
that's true. Vecna
Vecna roller
skates. There
skates.
you go.
Vecna skates.
That would be. That's just.
The
no,
eye of
they have-
Vecna, the hand of Vecna, and the skates of Vecna.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
The lesser known artifact.
Or the ER visit of Vecna later.
That's right.
I see.
Yeah, I mean, I
nothing wrong
think,
with this.
we try to send out a lot of surveys to our customers, and we're trying to get more educated about which things are most meaningful to them because, like I said, for us, it's everything is just cool.
Yeah.
And so, but we try to learn about, when it comes time to cut, let's make sure we're not cutting the thing that people love the most. So that's the
Mm.
best we can
Right.
do.
Right. No,
What
that
would
would
you
be.
say? What would you say is the most recurring request or ask when you do these surveys? Is there one that kind of stands out more than others?
Well, early on, it was Strahd.
Okay.
When we first started out, everybody was, when are you going to do Strahd? And so really, really glad we were able to do that. I think uh, in terms of like what's in the box, I think battle maps always rank really, really high. We have beautiful, beautiful cartography, some really talented people we work with. And so as we've gone on, we've started to lean into that more and more because that seems to be super desirable for people.
Handouts at the top of the list. The
Yeah, yeah.
in-world
I
handouts are
think
always.
every single time, when the players find a journal page or a letter or something like that, that anytime the DM is able to actually pull that out from behind the screen and hand it over to the players, that it's always an impactful moment. It always pulls the players into the reality of the situation just a tiny bit more. And yeah, I think those moments are always so cool and meaningful for people that
Mhm.
we will never be able to do enough of those, I think.
I
No,
agree.
I think you're right. Wow. And all the premium sets, all those the big boxes are going to have all that kind of stuff in them every time, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you have
Even
a
when we get down to like for Keys to the Golden Vault, we did we are trying to sort of create more variety in our price points and try to make these things more accessible to people. So Keys for the Golden Vault, we did a lower price product, but when we do a lower price product, it becomes even more important for us to be able to anticipate what the things are that people really want the most, because
Mhm.
not going to lower the quality level. It's not like we're going to put in cheaper maps than we would for a platinum edition. There's just going to be less. So we have to think, what is the core stuff? Um, Keys to the Golden Vault was a big heist adventure. There are a lot of handouts in that one, so that's really what we focused on, and I think it still came together as a really cool product to serve that particular group of stories.
Yeah.
And do you like playing in the Forgotten Realms for these things and maybe picking up some of the other major cities and doing a platinum edition for those? Or even sections like Icewind Dale or the things like that, you know.
I
Yeah. Oh,
me
go ahead, John.
personally, I'm a fan of the Forgotten Realms. I generally set my campaigns that I run in the Forgotten Realms just because I feel like it's so rich and it's top of mind for me to go back to like I'm also doing an Eberron campaign.
Right.
In general, when I'm running like straight sword and sorcery, I generally do the because my players love the idea that, oh, we're going back to Waterdeep, or oh, we have to travel to
Hmm.
Candlekeep. It's just because it's so recognizable. I think that they really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Right.
That Eberron game that John mentioned is our game right now. We mo unfortunately, most of the time that we used to game in, we now are having business meetings. But once a quarter, we all do a retreat. We rent a house. We all stay there for a few days and work through like company goals and stuff like that. But then we also have time to game. So that's our sort of quarterly game that we all come together for, and that's been just a
Right.
blast. Really
Right.
having fun with that.
Well,
Yeah, that
do you have any plan of doing another large city like Waterdeep, or maybe something in the next couple of years, or?
Well, normally we tie things to the D&D adventures. We have done setting boxes. We did a box for a Pathfinder city that they had a whole book for, and that was a really fun one to just sort of focus on a location where it wasn't a specific adventure, but it was more about just like really looking into the little dark corners of this city and blowing things out and trying to give a DM a way to, if I want to create things in this setting, how would I do that?
Right. Right.
And those are a lot of fun to work on. But we are for D&D in particular, we are pretty tied to the products that they put out. So we're always anxious to see what they're going to be doing next, and some of the books really lend themselves to us doing stuff for them, and some of them don't quite as much, and we don't do everything, or we just can't do everything. We just don't have the manpower. But when one comes up that we're all excited about, we kind of just say, all right, well, we're going to do something here. Now we just have to figure out what that something is.
Right. Did y'all think about doing or consider doing a box set of the from the D&D movie, the Neverwinter?
Yeah, I mean, we talked to them about what we might do in connection with the movie release. And after some back and forth, there wasn't anything that was a perfect fit for what we do. We also talked to them briefly about doing something for Baldur's Gate 3. But then it turned out that the folks over at Larian were doing a collector's box for that.
Okay.
So which I think did pretty well. So we backed off of that as well. It has to be the right fit, right? It has to be something where we're not stepping on someone else's toes.
Of course.
And it matches what we do.
So if money and what can be fit into the box isn't a consideration, if that vanishes, we're in the never world now.
Okay.
I'm not talking about specific IPs, identifiable IPs. I'm talking we can put anything in a box, and it doesn't matter how much it costs or whatever. What are the sort of things that you maybe can't justify doing now in terms of format or thingies? I presume if it was a space RPG with laser rifles, you couldn't do laser rifles and put them in. A for tech and B for cost. But I mean, what are the things that maybe are doable somehow, but you can't really justify it? But if money was no object, what would you like to do? Like the dream thing.
I mean, for me, I always dream about truly interactive props. So, for example, if you had a trap that a thief needs to disarm, it'd be so much more fun than doing a dice roll if you actually had something mechanical that you could put on the table and say, have at it. Let's see what you can do, right? I mean, that those kinds of moments would be amazing. How close we can get to creating that experience, I don't know. And, we're going to continue to try to push where we can go with something like that. But, that for me is the dream, if you're doing a sci-fi one and somebody has to choose between cutting the red wire and the blue wire, I want that fucking thing on the table, and I want you to have to make that decision on your own, right?
Comes with your own pliers.
Well,
yeah.
In the moonlight we roam through the ancient cobblestones. With swords and shields we march across the land we've known. With a fiddle and a hurdy-gurdy, we'll dance around the fire. In the tavern we revel, let the spirit take us high.
La 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 la, la 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 la.